All right, here I'm going to go ahead and go through and finish calculating out these ones. Now, number one, I'm not going to finish typing that in because you have the answer right there. Typing in your calculator, you get 19.63. All right, but we'll go ahead and start doing these other ones. So finding the area of each of these. So this is a rectangle, and the area is length times width. The length here is 6 centimeters. It should have a centimeters on it there. 6 centimeters times a width of 3 centimeters, and 6 times 3 is 18, and centimeters times centimeters is centimeters squared. And so if we check back over here, 18 square centimeters, that's what we've got. That's good. And then the next part is a square. It is 10 by 10, and so therefore the area here is s squared, and this is 10 centimeters times 10 centimeters, which is 100 centimeters squared, and that should match up, 100 square centimeters. Good. Next over here, we have a parallelogram, right? So we can find its area by doing its base times its height, which I talked about in the last video. So it has a base of 8 and a height of 5, so that'll just end up giving us 40 centimeters squared, which matches up. This next one, we had to use this 1/2 this, so this essentially worked out to splitting it into two triangles. Wasn't a very good splitting it into two triangles and doing the area of each triangle individually. So 1/2 the base of this bottom triangle times height right there, that's one triangle, and then the other one is 1/2 the height times the base of this upper triangle, and that's ultimately what we're doing to solve this one. So we can just go ahead and plug numbers in there and do it. So this is 1/2, the height is 6 centimeters, times our 12 plus 8 is 20 centimeters, and half of 6 is 3, and 3 times 20 is 60 centimeters, times centimeters gives us a centimeters squared. So for number 5, 60 square centimeters, or 60 centimeters squared, that works for us. This next one is another parallelogram where we're given a base and a height, and that's what we want to multiply together. So area equals base times height, which is 5 centimeters times 4 centimeters. And so this has a total area of 20 centimeters squared, which, if we go back over here and check, 20 square centimeters, that's what we were looking for. Next is the area of a circle. Area of a circle is pi r squared. So this is pi times 3 centimeters squared. And we'll use the pi button. So 3 times 3 is 9 times pi is what we want to do, is 28.274. So 28.27 centimeters squared. And if we check it, 28.27 square centimeters, good. Next one, even though it doesn't quite look like it on my screen at least, is another square. And so the area of a square is simply the length of the side squared. And so that's going to be 7 centimeters squared. It's just like a rectangle. It's 7 times 7. And that's going to give us 49 centimeters squared, which, if we check for number 8, is 49 square centimeters, which is the same thing as centimeters squared. For this one, we needed to make two shapes out of it. The total area would be the area of the triangle plus the area of the rectangle, if I write it like that. I hope that helps. So the area of the triangle is 1/2 the base of the triangle. Well, we know the whole thing here is 8, and we know that this little part in here is 5. And so if that's 5 and the whole thing is 8, that means this leftover little part there has to be, let me get rid of all this red, this has to be 3 centimeters. So the base of the triangle is 3 centimeters. The height of the triangle is then actually going to be this 4 that's right here. So 4 centimeters right there. Okay, so 4 is the height, 4 centimeters, plus the area of the rectangle, Well, the base of the rectangle is 5, because that's this part right here. It's the same as what's up there. So 5 centimeters, right? 5 centimeters times the height, which is 4 centimeters. And so 3 times 4 is 12. 12 times a half is 6 centimeters squared. Centimeters times centimeters. And then 5 times 4 is 20 centimeters squared. And so we end up with 20 plus 6, which is 26 centimeters squared. And if we check our answer for number 9, 26 square centimeters, that's what we're looking for. All right, this last one, here we have another parallelogram, so we don't really need to actually worry about that part right there unless you really wanted to break this up into 2 triangles and a rectangle, which I guess you could do. You'd have a 6 by 3 rectangle, and then you'd have to figure out what this would have to be 4 centimeters because of the 10 and the 6. And so this would be 4 centimeters up here, and then you could go through and do it that whole way, or we can just realize that this is a parallelogram, and so we just have to do base times height. Well, the base is not the 6 centimeters, because the 6 centimeters is only this part. The base is this whole length here, which is that 10 centimeters up here. So it's 10 centimeters that we need to do. So area is base 10 centimeters times height 3 centimeters, not that one right there. So we got extra information we didn't even need really. And so we have 3 times 10 is 30 centimeters squared. And if we check, we see we have 30 square centimeters there. So far, so good. Okay, so that's it for that page. And I think the next page is actually on this sheet here. So this one's about finding some more areas here. So I already said before we had to find half the area of the circle and then the area of the triangle. So half the area of the circle is pi r squared. Area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So we have 1/2 pi times our radius. The radius is half of that, so it's 3 inches. Half of that 6, 3 inches. And then we have to add on, and squared. And then we have to add on 1/2. The base of the triangle is the whole 6 inches. And the height of the triangle is this 4 that's right there for that part, is 4 inches. And so 1/2 times pi times 3 squared. 3 squared is 9. So this is 9 times pi times 1/2. And then that gives us 14.1372. And then we're just going to keep that in the calculator and go ahead and add on 1/2 times 6 times 4. Well, 6 times 4 is 24, so half of that's 12. We're just adding 12 on. So this ends up giving us 26, right? Here's our total area. Our total area equals, let me move that over. Area equals 26.137. So I'm going to put 14, rounding that off, inches squared, right? Inch times inch is inches squared, and inches squared plus there. And so inches squared plus inches squared is inches squared. So 26.14 for number 11, 26.14 square inches. So there we go. Going back, we have this next one. We have 2 triangles that are the same. This triangle and this triangle are both the same. And so therefore, the base of this triangle, we're kind of turning it on its side, where this over here, this side here is the base, this side here is the height, and it's the same base as over here and height as over here. So we have 2 of those triangles. So the area total is 2 times the area of the triangle, right? We have 2 of the same triangle, plus the area of the rectangle, right? That's this rectangle here, okay? Maybe do that in a different color, this rectangle right here. And so we go through and just find them. So 2, the area of a triangle is 1/2. Base, in this case, is 4 centimeters. Actually, I'll go ahead and write it. 1/2, undo, go away. 1/2 base times height, and there's 2 of them, plus the area of the rectangle, which is Length times width is what we did, right? Length times width. And so now I can plug this in. 2 times a half. 2 times a half, they just cancel. 2 times 1/2 is just 1. And so this is just base times height. So it's 4 centimeters times 3 centimeters for the height. And then the length times width here is going to be 10 centimeters times 4 centimeters. And so in this case, 4 times 3 is 12 centimeters. And 10 times 4 is 40 centimeters squared for both of those, because centimeters times centimeters and centimeters times centimeters. And 40 plus 12 is 52 centimeters squared. So 52 square centimeters. If we check over here, go back to right, there's our 52 square centimeters. All right, down to our last two here. So this one I told you everything to do. And the only thing I didn't do was plug it in, which you can still go ahead and do. Try plugging it in. The answer is right there. When you plug all that in, you should get this answer right there. And then this last one is about subtracting the area of the square and then subtracting off the area of the circle. And so this is our area. And so it'll equal area of the square, which is s squared, minus area of the circle, which is pi r squared. And so s squared is 6 centimeters squared, and then minus pi times the radius. The radius is half of this. So this line here is the same length as that line there, and then our radius is half of that. So 3 centimeters, so times 3 centimeters squared. And so 6 times 6 is 36, and then we have to subtract off 3 squared is 9, so it's 36 minus 9 pi. So we can do 36 minus, and then be sure you use your parentheses, because you don't want to subtract 9 and then multiply by pi. You want to multiply the 9 by pi first and then subtract it from 36. So be careful when you type this in. So it's ultimately 36 minus, and then in parentheses, 9 times pi. And that gives us 7.725. So this will be 7.73. And then centimeters squared will be our answer there. And if we come over here, we get 7.73 square centimeters. Okay. Well, there's all of those problems worked out for you for areas. Hopefully that helped if you were stuck on any of them. And if you have any further questions, be sure to let me know. Thanks for listening.